Hey guys, it's Ginny, and I'm sick right now, which is why my voice might sound a little bit different than normal. But I'm gonna do a travel tag because it's been a while since I've done one. I found one that I'm pretty sure I have actually not done before, and I actually do want to update a couple too. So I might have a couple videos or a video coming out soon that's like an updated travel tag because some of the questions will probably have the same answers, but some of them are like, what's your favorite place you visited, and things like that, like more specific um, experiences. So there were a few that I did before I moved to France last year, or to in 2013. It's 2015 now, and so they might have different answers now because I traveled to quite a few different countries during that time that I was living in France. So yeah, so I'm gonna update some of those, but for now I'm gonna just do a new travel tag, and I found this from the channel O'Clock, and I will link her video in the description below. I've never watched her before. I was just searching for travel tags on YouTube. I don't think she made up the tag. I think she just did it. I'm not sure who the original creator of this tag was. But anyway, I'll go ahead and get started. So the first question says, where is somewhere you never visited but you want to go, and why? There's a lot of places I want to go that I've never visited. I could just say everywhere I've never been because that's literally the case. Like, I want to go everywhere. But right now, some of the places I really want to go to, I've mentioned before in other videos, is Dominica to visit my friend. That's more to visit my friend than the place, although I would love to go to a Caribbean island also. But if she wasn't there, I probably wouldn't be first on my list. I've also been dying to go to Greece. I would love to visit Iceland, and especially to go on a Northern Lights tour. And I am dying to go to the Galapagos Islands in Ecuador. If I could go anywhere, like regardless of people and stuff, that's probably where I would go first. Is the Galapagos Islands. I really, really can't wait to go there. I'm gonna go there someday. It is high on my travel list. Question number 2: out of all the places you visited, which is your favorite and why? And I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this in other videos also, but my favorite place that I visited so far is Dubrovnik in Croatia. It felt super safe, and I can't describe how safe it felt, especially when you're like in the old Walden city. It doesn't even feel like a city, and that's actually how I ended up finding Dubrovnik, is was searching for like safest cities, and it popped up on a list because I was thinking of traveling there by myself. I ended up going with my dad and my stepmom, and we had a great time. But not only is it really safe feeling, there are cats everywhere, and I love cats. I love all animals. It's cats everywhere in the city. They're super cute and friendly. So I mean, some of them are kind of nasty in the nastier parts of the city, but like in the old city, they're getting like fed by tourists and stuff. They're like some fat cats there. Um, and it's just beautiful scenery. It's mountains against the ocean. You can't ask for anything more beautiful. The water there is so clear, you can see through to the bottom. It's just gorgeous, and the architecture in the old city is really pretty. We stayed there for like a full week pretty much, and we did some excursions too. But it's just the most beautiful place that I've been to, and we got to see a lot of places where they filmed some like Game of Thrones stuff, and I love Game of Thrones. So if you want to travel somewhere really awesome, really beautiful, go to Dubrovnik. It's the most beautiful place I've been to. Number 3, what's your favorite foreign dish? Um, I'm a vegan now, so I don't eat like a lot of processed kind of foods, or like I don't eat any meat, any dairy, any eggs, anything like that. But I mean, I did enjoy things before then. Now my favorite like foreign dish is like I still eat like Thai food and Chinese food, just like a vegan version. So I really like I like that kind of stuff. I like pad see ew with rice noodles, which is a Thai dish. It's really good. My favorite dish that I actually ate, and like my favorite meal I ever ate, was in France. And obviously I was not vegan at this time. It was really funny because it's just like, I don't know if you guys have like a list of your favorite meals in your life, and I don't really have like a definitive list, but most of the meals, like specific meals that were my favorites were abroad. I remember eating, like in Japan, eating shrimp tempura with udon noodles. It was so good. Um, in Italy, like all kinds of amazing food in Italy. But my top favorite meal I ever had was in France, in Enbonne, in the little town where I lived. There was a restaurant called Le Chat Botté, which means Puss in Boots, or the booted cat technically, but it's Puss in Boots in French. And it was in my town, and they had like a cute little Puss in Boots character on their sign, and I love Puss in Boots. When I lived in France the first time, I went with my roommates to see the Puss in Boots movie, which is like Puss in Boots from Shrek, but they made a movie about just his life. And I went to see that in France, and it was really fun. So like ever since then, I really love Puss in Boots, especially when it's like Puss in Boots in French. I'm not sure if the tale originated in French or not, but anyway, so we I kept seeing the restaurant and I really wanted to eat there, but I lived in the city like by myself. I didn't have a lot of friends like that were right in the city, and it was kind of like a more not super fancy but more expensive restaurant than what my friends would normally want to go to, and I didn't want to go by myself. My friend Chloe and I tried to go there like 3 times. She would come stay with me on the weekends a lot because she lived in the town like 20 or 30 minutes away. I don't know. But she would take the bus and come visit me. And we tried to go there a few times and they were closed, like the first 2 times we tried to go. We finally got to go there and it was so good. I can't, like, so that I had, I can't remember what we had for an appetizer. I think it was some crackers with, like, some kind of a fish spread, some kind of spread on it. But my main dish was salmon with some potatoes and like a cream sauce, and it was amazing. It was so delicious. It was really good, and I loved seafood before I was vegan. Seafood is my favorite thing. So the salmon was just like really cooked perfectly, like juicy but flaky, really nice. And then for dessert, I had their like house specialty dessert, and it was the most delicious coconut ice cream with like a pineapple, chunky pineapple sauce. It was so good. That is probably like the best meal I've ever had. And I realized I just spent like 5 minutes talking about it, but yeah, that is my favorite foreign dish that I have had, and is super classic French with like the cream sauce and the different courses and stuff. I think we had one more course, but I can't remember. But the salmon and the dessert were amazing. Anyway, moving on. Question 4: if you could only bring 5 things on a trip, what would they be? If I'm going to travel, I'm definitely bringing a camera. I'm probably, what else would I bring? Probably bringing my Nintendo DS, because when I travel, I don't know if you guys have a Nintendo DS. I have the 3DS, and you can set up your little character, and then when you pass people who are carrying one, it transfers the information so you can like collect their characters from like all over the world, and it's really fun. I love to collect the characters from different countries. So I probably would bring that for sure, because then later when you go open it, it's like, here's all the people you passed, and it tells you where they're from and their little name they put in and some little facts that they put in. It's really fun. It's called Street Pass. And so I'd bring my Nintendo DS and my camera. I would probably bring a chapstick, because I am one of those people that is addicted to chapstick, and like my lips are painful, and it's really annoying if I don't have chapstick. What else would I bring? I'm trying to think of what I actually bring when I travel, because that's probably what I'd bring. If I could only bring 5 things, so then if it's only the 5, okay. So I have a chapstick, I have my DS, I have a camera. I would bring a purse to put those things into. And like, can you have like, obviously you have to have like your passport and some money, like, because that doesn't count as a thing, right? But I'd bring like a nice small purse that can close in a way that people can't get into it really easily. And then the last thing I would bring, I would say probably like some tissue, because I know a lot of times when I've been traveling, like, you go to the bathroom and there's no toilet paper, especially in like Europe and stuff. So that's probably what I'd bring. I'd bring like mostly practical things, I guess. So yeah, that's what I'd bring. Question number 5. If there were no limits on ways to travel, how would you get to your destination? Okay, so I was thinking about this question a little before I started answering it, like as I was watching her travel tag, and I was like, well, duh, like teleportation, so you're just like instantly there. Then I was thinking, like, I kind of enjoy the travel part. Um, like I love road trips and stuff, but I just don't like it when it drags on to like forever and you're just getting too tired to function anymore. So like if I could have a car, or maybe like a small, like a flying vehicle, but like personal operated, so I can just go whenever I want. Like a little flying car that can go like super fast would be perfect. So that would take like, an hour to get from Michigan to France. That'd be good. Like that would be perfect for me. So somebody invent that and get one to me, because that's what I need. And let's see, number 6, which accent do you find most appealing? I just don't get the whole accent thing. Like, to me, it's really superficial. I'm not like a superficial kind of person. Like, I just never have like heard an accent and been like turned on by that. Like, it's just an accent. Like, I do think some of them are cute. I think they're interesting and cool, but I just don't. I'm not attracted by an accent itself. I'm attracted by people as a whole. I'm not. I guess I'm weird in that way. I'm not attracted by like single certain features in any person. An accent is included in that. Like, I'm never just attracted to somebody just on seeing them either. That's just not how I am. I'm attracted to people like once I get to know them, I know their personality. So I'm attracted to the person as a whole, not to like little details. So I don't really have an answer for which accent I find the most appealing. Number 7, discuss something embarrassing that happened to you while traveling. I'm sure there are probably way more than this, because I've had a lot of weird, random, awkward experiences while traveling, but they don't just all pop into your head when you're trying to think of them. I'll try and tell you guys about a couple. One, we were in Dubrovnik. Our receptionist at the hotel had told us, my dad asked about a good place to go running. So she told us to follow the street and then up the mountain. And so we were going to like just walk the path to like scout it out. So we walked down there and we like took a wrong turn and we ended up in this like parking lot of an abandoned hotel. And there was like all this trash and we found a carrot with a condom on it, like laying on the ground. And it was just like, why are we here? Like, this is not the right place. And then these 2 guys showed up, and it was like super awkward. And we were like, what? There's the 3 of us, and we were like, okay, bye. We like walked away. It was really awkward. Oh gosh, there's so many like weird random things. Another time was not really embarrassing to me, just like super awkward and weird. I was in Paris and I was in the metro station. And if you've ever been to a metro anywhere, there's 2 platforms and there's the tracks in the middle. So I was on one side in the morning. It was like 9 o'clock in the morning. It was me and an old lady on the one side. On the other side, there was this guy. And, I didn't think very much of it. I looked over like a minute later, and the guy is like walking. He was flashing us. Like, he wasn't full on like a flasher, like, woo, look at me. But he had like his penis out in his hand and was like walking around like holding it. It was super weird. I didn't feel threatened or anything because there was like the platform separating us. And me and the old lady just like looked at each other like, okay, whatever, dude. And it wasn't like a big thing. He wasn't causing any harm, just being super creepy and weird. But yeah, that's another thing that happened, I guess. I mean, it wasn't embarrassing. Like, I'm not embarrassed about it. It wasn't me, but it was weird. That's gonna be. I can't think of any other like super embarrassing ones, but I know I've had moments where I was actually embarrassed, but I can't think of them at the moment. Um, let's see, number 8. If you were given a chance to visit to visit one of the 7 wonders of the world, which would it be? So there's like the old 7 wonders and the new 7 wonders. I'm pretty sure one of the old 7 wonders that actually still remains is the pyramids of Giza, which I would love to go visit the pyramids. But if you're talking about the new seven wonders, they are Great Wall of China, the Christ the Redeemer in Rio de Janeiro, Machu Picchu, Chichen Itza in Mexico, the Colosseum, which I have already visited, Taj Mahal, and Petra in Jordan. And so I have been to the Colosseum, but out of the rest of them, I would probably want to visit the Great Wall of China. I've never been to China. I haven't seen a lot of Asia. I've only been to Japan in Asia. So I would love to go to China and see the Great Wall of China. I think that would be awesome. But any of those places I would love to see. I would love to see Machu Picchu also. So I don't know. I would love to see any of them, but I would probably pick the Great Wall of China if I had to just pick out of those seven places. See the next question. Have you ever been in two places at once? It's kind of a strange question. I mean, unless you're counting like technically like crossing borders, as you're crossing a border. I've never been anywhere where I like stood over the borders, so I don't know. Not really, I guess. And number 10, if you could live anywhere in the world for the rest of your life, where would you live and why? This is a super hard question because it's kind of something that I think about a lot because I love to travel but I also love my family and friends and I'm really close with them and I love to be home with them. But lately I think more and more that I used to think I couldn't live long term like away from my family, but lately I'm kind of thinking more and more that I could and that I might want to. And especially because lately a lot of my, or not a lot, but like a good amount of my friends moved, not necessarily to different countries, but different places in the U.S. and different countries. My sister moved to Japan, and my friend that I mentioned lives in Dominica. I have another friend, one of my best friends just moved away to Iowa, and so like I've had people moving away, and I still keep in touch with them and still love them. So I thought more and more that I could live abroad. So two answers to this question, I guess. One would be that I would just live in Michigan because that's where most of my family lives, and I love being close with them. But if I was gonna move somewhere for the place itself, not really sure. I think I would probably. I've also thought of living in Canada, specifically in Montreal or in somewhere in Quebec, and I think that would be the most likely to actually happen for a long term because it's still. I can move there easily with my dogs. I can drive there. I can still visit home by driving. Like I'm connected by land. It's not so far away as like Europe. And I really like if I lived in Quebec, I could use French on a regular basis. So I think that's the most likely if I was gonna move like out of the country long term is that I would probably end up living in Canada. But as far as like fantasy, like if I could move my whole family somewhere and we could all just live together there, I think I would love to live in Dubrovnik because it's like my favorite place that I've visited. But I also would love if my whole family could live in France. I think that would be perfect because while I did really like Dubrovnik, um, I like France because I can speak French. I know a lot about France. I've lived there before 2 times. I have other friends who live there, and I just love France. So if I could uproot my whole family and move us all to France, that would be perfect. Sorry, that was actually like 4 answers to this question, but that is the last question on the list. So that's going to be it for this super long video, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.